So I'm excited to spend a few minutes with Kathy Johnson, president of the Calhoun-Gordon County Chamber of Commerce, and also tell me the rest of your title. You've got a long one.
Also the Development Authority for Gordon County, serving both the city and the county, and the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And just last year, very proud of the fact that we had applied for and have now become a regional CVB, so we are a regional visitor center as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I first had the opportunity to meet you when I was a part of the Leadership Calhoun-Gordon County class. And I had moved here from Chattanooga and hadn't been here for any amount of time till I jumped in that class, and what a great way to meet the community. I can't imagine a better way.
I think it's one of our most important and signature programs that the Chamber hosts, and that is the leadership program. We're 25 plus years in, so a lot of the leaders in the community, you know, were part of that. When I first came here, they said, "You need to go through leadership," and I said, "Okay, I will do that." Yeah. So I made a commitment that year that I came that I would go through leadership and be a class member, and I took it serious that each year since I have attended the retreat.
Yep.
I go alongside each class, and it's a great way to get to know the people of the community, but also a great way for us to identify new up-and-coming and emerging leaders that are living here among us.
Well, I think the folks who are in the class with me, I mean, getting to rub shoulders with them and learn about the industries, but also the facilitators. Like you said, I feel like I can pick up the phone and call anybody, you know, at the drop of a hat, and they'll answer and get back to me or whatever, that, you know, so just a tremendous group of people, and it was a wonderful experience.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. The confirmation that we're doing something that's beneficial to all of the community, and particularly the members. We're looking to expand that, to broaden, to give the leaders more to that in the coming year. So I'm excited. One thing that I would say, this last year's class, they've actually formed a supper club.
Have they really? So
that they can stay in touch. They find that much value from the relationships, the networking, and that they established during that retreat and year-long sessions.
I'm a little jealous. So how long have you been a part of the chamber here in Calhoun-Gordon County?
Well, August the 16th will begin my 6th year. Okay. So I'm 5 years in.
5 years in. And prior to that, you were in Chattanooga.
Yes, I worked for a regional economic development entity. Okay. I was the economic development director for a regional planning organization, as well as the program manager for the Southeast Industrial Development Association. Those are, it's a regional marketing and recruiting arm for power distributors of TVA Power. So. Okay.
So I heard you mention at one point that you were involved in, or at least to some degree involved with, bringing Volkswagen or recruiting Volkswagen to Chattanooga. I was a small business owner in Chattanooga at the time and watched firsthand how that was a transformational change to that community. When something like that happens, talk about what a difference it makes.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
It really does. In any type of recruitment of any industry, whether it's small or large, it really takes everyone. And there were so many critical players, and my role was very small.
Sure.
Compared to many of the other people. But we did, from a regional planning standpoint, we did approach that project open arms and open eyes as to what the effect would be. So many of the community leaders traveled to South Carolina to talk to the leaders when BMW located there. So we had a best practice firsthand experience as to kind of anticipate what was coming of something of that size. And it's the ripple effect. Even if not as large as that, it still has a ripple effect as it relates to economic development and the economic prosperity of of a community.
So does that ripple extend even to Calhoun, Gordon County, or not quite that far?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's going to within probably 100-mile radius.
That's awesome. So it's very regional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is.
And I know from talking to you in the past that you're always talking with other businesses and trying to recruit people here, and you're really good at keeping secrets. But
I'd have that reputation of being the best secret keeper
Yeah.
in Northwest Georgia. I've been dubbed that, so whether that's good or bad.
no, that's great.
And I've told people, information truly is more of a burden than it is a privilege, and it's one that we carefully bear for everyone's best interest until the time and place for particular announcements.
That's great. So if I'm a small business with 5 or 10 employees here in Calhoun, why should I join the Chamber of Commerce?
Of course, I'm going to tell everyone you should join the Chamber of
Right,
Commerce.
right.
I think it's a fabulous organization. There's the reason that there's one in every single community. You're going to interact and meet with people on whatever forum that we have, whether it's the Booster Breakfast, whether it's the advantages of seminars, whether it's a committee that you serve on to give back to your community. You're going to receive the benefit of networking. But one thing that I would tell you that we are starting this year, that we're rolling out, that I think would be fabulous value to a 5 to 10 person small business, is the fact that we, as our chamber, has now joined the Georgia Chamber Federation. So if you're a small business owner and you're a member of our chamber, you also, of that small business, receive the benefits of the membership to the Georgia Chamber at no cost. It's through our membership fee. So you're going to there's a savings there. And with that, you're going to also benefit from any of the other affinity programs that the state chamber offers. And you'll receive direct communication from the Georgia Chamber.
Oh, that's great. So everybody's familiar with the concept of live, work, and play, a community where you try to... another concept that I hear a lot is keep it in the county.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
When I first came, we had several community partners that were our Keep It in the County partners. And we set out to expand that, and we have grown tremendously in that. So the emphasis, those partners are the ones that really, we try to keep those dollars local. If you can keep that, and that's part of our mission, is about your economic prosperity of the community. So if we are promoting those individuals that support our Keep It in the County, and going back to leadership, if you recall, that was my signature Keep It in the County Kathy name, to stress the importance of keeping shopping local and keeping dollars local. And it goes back to that, how we turn those local dollars over in our community. It just makes our community stronger.
Absolutely.
So long as we are, and that's what's important, to keep those small business owners that you're talking about, that we shop there, we buy from those individuals.
So I have a lot of folks on the foundation board and folks in the community that I've met of all different generations, and I hear about how great Calhoun was back in the 70s and in the 80s, and I know you weren't here yet, but Calhoun was a great place to raise a family then, and it's a great place to raise a family now. Why is this community such a great community?
I think it's about the people. I truly do. They asked me that question, what do you love about Calhoun? Why do you want to be here? And I said, it's about the people. It's truly is. It always has been. It's a great community. It's a caring community. I think you would see that in whether it's philanthropic or just helping out, or if there's if it's the faith-based community, you're going to see an outpouring of care, concern, and just support of one another. And there's just that community spirit, and there's a community pride here that is unprecedented, in my opinion.
I heard about it when I was interviewing for my job here at the hospital, and I thought, well, yeah, they're just trying to recruit me, or that's what everybody says. But since moving here, we've seen it firsthand, and it really is. It's something unique and special compared to any other place I've ever lived. So Gordon County has great schools, great industries, jobs, access to great health care. That doesn't just happen by chance. What does it take, the vision or from a practical standpoint, what does it take to put all those pieces together for a community?
Oh, I think it takes leadership. I think it takes a community vision. I think it takes, a lot of the elected leadership, all of us working together comprehensively, planning for not only present day, but for the future. And we have approached that this year. We just launched our 10-year comprehensive plan as to where we go in the next 10 years. And I think they do a good job at really looking at where and listening to the community.
We all want to leave the community a better place, right?
We do.
For those who follow. We
do. We all have children that we hope to leave this place better.
So, as a hospital, we love working with the school systems and working with the industries and the chamber. Why are community partnerships so important in a community like ours?
Oh, it's invaluable to a community. The partnerships need to be so interwoven, and it makes everyone stronger. We all, as I mentioned to you earlier, it's a selling point of the community. When you are talking to business or industry, they're going to want to know, what type of partnerships you have, how well those partnerships are merged, how supportive are we of one another, and whether it's the schools or the hospitals or our industries, either way, we're talking to one another about those. And it's just critical that we have great partnerships. I mean, there's power in that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's power in partnerships.
Power working together. One of our guests a few weeks ago talked about the way that the city and county governments are working so well together now as opposed to years ago, and he said it's just refreshing, energizing, exciting to see that. So I think that speaks volumes.
It does, and it's more easy for companies to, whether they're looking for critical infrastructure or whatever it is, that if we're working together, it just makes it's a flow of information easier, faster, more efficient. So
we mentioned leaving the world a better place. When you look back on time you spent in Knoxville and Chattanooga and now here in Calhoun, and you think about your career and what you've done and the legacy that you're leaving, reflect on that for a minute.
Oh goodness.
This is getting a little personal.
Well, I hope that I have a very strong moral compass, and I hope that on a personal level, I hold myself to those standards, and hopefully for the agencies that I have worked, I have done so as well in managing those whether it's the best secret keeper or whether I hope I live by some very strong moral and ethical standards, and I hope that everyone else that I've worked for and that they truly know that, and I hope to pass those on to our own children, and because they are truly our legacies.
Right. Well, on behalf of the hospital and the community, thank you for all that you do. You're definitely making a measured effort to improve our community, and we really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for the time today, and thank you for choosing the Chamber of Commerce and to give us a voice in this.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure.
Thank you.